Great evening, beautiful people. Great evening, beautiful people. I decree that you are the epitome of health and wealth. I decree that you are continuously transforming into a greater version of self. I decree that you are interacting with opportunity instead of reacting to success. I decree that you are aligning to all that elevates your unique mind, body, and spirit. I'm Duran Jackson. My brand is Wholistic Consciousness. Don't grind, align. Align to all that elevates your unique mind, body, and spirit. And today we're going to be discussing, on this SelfCare Sunday, we're going to be discussing wealth consciousness as it pertains to sleep and rest. So, of course, with me, like every Sunday, I do what's called SelfCare Sundays. So typically in the AM on Sunday mornings, I do an Aztec clay mask. I do a nice bath and just relax. May listen to some piano jazz. This morning I listened to piano jazz, as well as one of my favorite groups called Sweetback. They used to play for Sade back in the day, but they have some really, really nice instrumentals. They have a really nice song with Maxwell that's real smooth that a lot of people probably haven't heard of. But I use my Sundays to really allow myself to unwind, allow myself to relax. And I've termed it SelfCare Sundays. So one thing that's really was on my mind as it pertains to SelfCare Sundays was wealth consciousness as it pertains to sleep and rest. So why do I want to discuss sleep and rest? It's because we live in a world where the opposite of getting enough sleep and getting enough rest is the norm. Like, it's almost seen as a commendable thing if you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not getting enough rest, if you're always grinding, if you're always hustling. People say sleep when I die. People say team no sleep. People say I gotta chase the bag. But what is all of these things really doing to our health? You know, we have to consider all of those things. And because of my personal brand, like, I have to look at the totality or the holistic approach for everything. Like, that's my objective, is to look at things in their totality and any completeness of what it is, what the cause and the effect will be if I choose to carry out or live my life in a certain fashion. So just look at the word grind. Like, look at the definition of the word grind. So many people say they always on their grind, they doing this, they doing that. But the word grind literally means to reduce to small particles of powder by crushing it. Synonyms of grind are crush, pound, pulverize, mill, grate. So it's everything related to friction and struggle. And when we look at the ideology of chasing the bag, when you think about chasing something, if you're saying you're chasing something, what does that mean? If you're chasing something, that means it's running away from you. Like, when you really start to understand the spiritual nature of money, when you start to understand the law of attraction, the law of vibration, you will understand that there is no need to chase money. When you start to identify your purpose, refine your purpose, and monetize your purpose, and when you start to do as I say in my slogan, don't grind, align to all that elevates your unique mind, body, and spirit, you will start to attract your tribe, those people who see value in you. You'll start to get product ideas. You'll start to have all of these things to monetize who you are naturally, as opposed to sticking to the script that the world provides, which is being on this hamster wheel, in this rat race, in this bucket of crabs, and continuously grinding and struggling. Like, that is a very, very destructive way of going about things. But most of us are on that frequency, are on that vibration. So, like, what are the effects of not getting enough sleep? So I'm going to pull up this article talking about 11 effects of sleep deprivation. And this article is from a website called healthline.com. So healthline.com breaks down that as a result of not getting enough sleep, you start to develop memory issues. During sleep, your brain forms connections that help you process and remember new information. So if you're not getting enough sleep, your brain isn't going to be able to make these new connections while you're resting. So you're going to develop memory issues. You're going to have trouble with thinking and concentration. You're going to have accidents. You're going to have mood changes. You're going to have weakened immunity. You're going to have high blood pressure. You're going to have risk of diabetes, weight gain, risk of heart disease, low sex drive, and poor balance. So I'm pretty sure all of us can think of a time where we did not get enough sleep, and it may have affected a conversation. It may have affected the way we performed on a task. It may have affected, what's up, brother? BWO, yes, sir, yes, sir. It may have affected so many things that we have going on in our lives, but because we are on this frequency, man, I gotta do it. I gotta grind. I gotta work harder. You gotta go harder. Like, it's absolute insanity, because when you look at it from a holistic approach, it's affecting your health. So everything that you think you're gaining in that moment is ultimately going to be lost by you taking days, weeks, maybe years off of your life, because now you got gallbladder problems, you got liver problems, you got heart problems, you got diabetes, you got obesity issues. So all of these things start to catch up in this unnatural society. So what can we start to do to counteract this? So one thing that really helps me to see the power of sleep is I decided to research everything that has been invented from a dream, or from somebody waking up in the morning and having an inspired thought and producing that thought when they woke up. So a lot of people don't think about this, but some of the most amazing brands, some of the most amazing movies and series, some of the most amazing world-changing inventions came to people while they were asleep. So I'm going to go down this list of inventions that came to people while they were asleep. Then I'm going to look at the gross income or revenue that many of these inventions have had over the years. So I'm going to start with this list and yeah, go from there. So this list starts, I'm going to start at the bottom of this list. So the scientific method came to Dr. Renee Descartes while she was asleep. Stephen King's series Misery came to him while he was asleep. 1010 in Tibet, what's up, second son? 1010 in Tibet came to this person while they were asleep. The series Twilight came to this lady while she was asleep. The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde came to Robert Louis Stevenson while he was asleep. The DNA structure benzene came to the scientist Frederick August Kekulle while he was asleep. I Can't Get No Satisfaction came to legendary guitarist Keith Richards while he was asleep. The double helix structure of DNA came to a scientist while he was asleep. Frankenstein came to a person while they were asleep. The series The Terminator came to a man while he was asleep. The theory of relativity came to Albert Einstein while he was asleep. The song Yesterday came to what is his name? He's in Paul McCartney while he was asleep. The sewing machine came to Elias Ho in a dream. And that is the list of different things that have come to people while they were asleep. So just understanding, like, so many of us negate sleep. We negate rest. We feel like we have to be constantly doing something. But we have to remember, like, most introspection, most innovation, those are things that come from within. So us affording ourselves to sit back and rest, us affording ourselves the opportunity to get sleep, it allows us to slow down and pour a lot of that anxiety out of our cups, pour a lot of that stress out of our cups, allow our brains to recalibrate. But if we constantly on the go, like, we don't have that room that we need from within to create, that room that we need to actually get into deep realm sleep. And if you're not getting into deep realm sleep, you're never going to be able to tap into your own personal power, your own personal creativity. So by no means should we ever take sleep for granted. and decide to make a few extra dollars each day because we desire to just grind and desire to hustle. And why this is important, I'm going to go over the gross revenue of a few of these different inventions. And I'm going to ask you, like, do you think this person cares or regrets the fact that they got some sleep that night? So Stephen King's series, Misery, lifetime gross earnings of $61 million. Stephen King's series, Misery, has a lifetime gross earnings of $61 million. So I would say that definitely was a night worth being asleep, as opposed to being up doing whatever other tasks that, you know, may have been pending or burning issues. But I would take a night of sleep that affords me to come up with an idea that I can transform and bring into the world and turn it into $61 million. I would take that night of sleep any day, as opposed to always grinding and hustling. The Twilight series. The Twilight series, this is crazy. Like, the Twilight series to date has grossed over $3.3 billion. And once again, this idea came to this lady while she was asleep. And lastly, but definitely not least, Google came to a man while he was asleep. And Google, like, the numbers are off the charts. Google was founded in 2002, and it grossed 400 million that year. 2003, 1.5 billion, all the way up to 2020. Google grossed $181.69 billion. So, like, I would definitely take sleep over grinding any day. So many of us are caught up in making transactional small amounts of money. But here it is, Google was conceptualized or came to an inception as a result of this man getting some sleep and waking up with this idea from a dream that he had. Terminator came from a dream. Sewing machine came from a dream. So all of these things, like, so what, just imagine, what are you missing out on in your dream state because you haven't afforded yourself the opportunity to sleep long enough so that your brain can actually get into that deep REM sleep, so that you can actually start to remember your dreams and tap into those things where you can basically cut out 15, 20, 30 years, not of just your life, of your children's, of your grandchildren, of your great-grandchildren, having to trade time for money. So the sooner we decide to get off this grind, this hustle, like, the sooner we all can potentially afford ourselves the opportunity to tap into our inner verse, as my good brother David McCullough speaks on, and really start to bring those things out of ourselves. Because many times we have to realize, like, there is nothing outside of ourselves that we need. Everything that we need, everything that we deserve, everything that we desire is an inside job. But the only way we can tap into what's within is that we start to allow ourselves to get enough sleep, allow ourselves to get enough rest. You said that's what I call beauty rest. Definitely. Like, if I can turn a night of sleep to $181 billion, like, I'm going to do it every time. I'm going to do it every time. And that's what happened with Google. And Terminator, like, the #1 Terminator film, has grossed $204 million. So I would say that's a night of sleep that I would definitely never regret. So we have to start to think about these things on this level, as opposed to the opposite of that, which the frequency of lack. We have to think about wealth consciousness from the standpoint of, when I get a wealth of sleep, when I get a wealth of rest, I will afford myself the opportunity to show up in a way where I can actually interact with opportunity instead of reacting to success. As I say every time I open my videos, I decree that you are interacting with opportunity instead of reacting to success. So many of us cannot see opportunity because we stressed out. We ain't getting enough rest. So if you're not getting enough rest, like, it's so much that your brain is probably incapable of processing, incapable of picking up on. So just start to understand that. So a few things that I do in order to rest. Like I said, once again, today is SelfCare Sundays for me. So I do a lot of therapeutic self-care on days like this. So this morning I did a clay mask. After I did my clay mask, I did my olive oil, coconut oil, eucalyptus oil, and honey conditioner over my face and over my scalp. Absolutely amazingly relaxing. That eucalyptus oil just really, really allows you to tap in and relax. I did a healing bath, just relaxing and laying in the tub, and did some affirmations and some chants while I was in the tub as well. And what happened? While I was resting, I came up with more layers, more details to ideas that I have. So once again, like, we cannot negate or attempt to marginalize the importance, the power of rest. The more we rest, the more we allow ourselves to get enough sleep, the more greatness we can start to pull out of ourselves. Because the opposite of that is maybe dependency on substances, dependency on sexing all the time, dependency on cocaine, dependency on all types of stimuluses that we need to try to keep ourselves awake. So when you're trying to keep yourself awake, you're going to need all of these external things that eventually, like, it's going to lead to you coming back down to earth and having that day where you have to realize, like, man, like, my liver is gone because of all that drinking. Man, my heart is gone because of all of that lack of sleep. So we're going to pay for these things in the long run. So, like, why don't we allow ourselves to get off of this frequency of lack and onto the frequency of wealth consciousness? Because on that frequency, we can receive and attain and achieve everything we desire without overdoing it, without stressing our bodies out. Like, I have no desire to look like the hardest working person in the world. Like, I have so many desires, so many ideas, and so many concepts that I'm going to bring to the world that I want those things to do the work. I want to afford myself the opportunity to build systems and to delegate so that I am not working. Like, I'm not the type of person, like, I got to be always working. No, I want my ideas to work for me. I want my systems to work for me. I want my dollars to work for me. So that's what this is all about, in my opinion. I have no desire to ever grind again in my life, besides physically working out and maybe learning a martial art. But besides that, I have no desire to grind. Like, my money will do that for me. My ideas will come to me from me resting and me affording myself the opportunity to get enough sleep. So I hope that brought value to you guys. A few other things that I do Qigong. And I'll say this, like, the first time I did Qigong, I cried. Like, and it was like, it wasn't like an emotional cry. The tears just started to come out of my eyes. It was like the movement that I afforded my body to do just tapped into trauma or emotions that needed to come out. So it wasn't even like an emotional cry. It was just tears coming out of my eyes. So just understanding the power of movement of the body, whether it's Qigong, whether it's Tai Chi, whether it's yoga, whether it's just stretching, just understand the power those different things can afford you to tap into by allowing your body to rest, by carrying on your body, by expressing your body through movement. Another thing that I'm looking to get into is called trauma release exercise, aromatherapy. Like I said, I do the eucalyptus oil, clay mask, float therapy. So if you don't know what float therapy is when you are literally submerged in 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt. Now, when you're immersed in this 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt, you're basically weightless. So when you're weightless, you don't have any stimulus or any senses. So you're able to relax. And in my opinion, it feels like you're in the womb of your mother. So with float therapy, it really allows you to get into a deep state of relaxation, allows your brain to get into theta state. So I strongly encourage you, like, if you know that you've been working too hard and not taking care of your mental and physical and psychological health, look into float therapy in your area and see if you can check that out. Detoxing, healing baths, as I stated earlier, ground therapy, and sound therapy. Now, the TRE, as well as the float therapy, as well as the grounding therapy. You can find all of these things from my good brother, Mr. David McCullough. If you're on Instagram, his IG is at Mr. David McCullough. That's MCCULLAR, David McCullough. David McCullough is the founder of the world's first mental health gym called Inception. Now, his Instagram for Inception is I_am_Inception. So it's I am Inception with the underscores. Inception is the world's first mental health gym. And at this gym, he has float therapy. He also teaches a workshop for TRE, which is trauma release exercise. They also have ground therapy devices. So I personally have bought a grounded mattress cover. So why is a grounded mattress cover and pillowcase so important? Well, most of us are in contact with these devices all the time. We got laptops, we got TVs, we got cell phones. We never really go outside with our feet on the ground. So with us not earthing and connecting to the ground, we are charged with all of these unnatural frequencies. And all of these unnatural frequencies are causing stress on our body. They're causing anxiety. They're causing inflammation. So when you start to understand all of these things are causing your body not to have the space that it needs to be in homeostasis, not allowing your body to have the space that it needs to be creative, to be productive, to be present, to be healthy in your relationships, to show up properly. So check out Mr. David McCullough and I am_Inception on Instagram. He also has a brand, as I stated, called Intertek. Intertek is where you can check out the grounding mattress cover, the grounding pillowcase, as well as the grounding patches. So something else that I do a lot of times, and I put the grounded patches on my feet, and there's a certain meridian on the bottom of your feet that will allow you to basically revitalize your entire body, because you're at that point grounding from the bottom up. And there are certain meridian points that correspond to certain energy centers in your body that allow you to basically revitalize yourself. So a lot of times I sleep with the patches on the bottom of my feet to really, really get a full grounding experience, because I'm not only sleeping on the grounded mattress cover, I got the grounded pillowcase and I got the grounded patches on my feet. So just understand, like, these are different resources that we have to us to care for ourselves more, because many of us have a lot of ambition. A lot of us want to grow and expand, but a lot of us don't have the room that we need to do it effectively. So we may end up getting caught up in this dynamic of grinding. We may get caught up in this dynamic of struggling for things, of destroying relationships, of having toxic dependencies, whether it's on substances, sex, whatever. So in order to break free from those things, a lot of us really need to focus on the therapies and the modalities that are available to us. So if any of this resonates with you, or you would just like to book a consultation with me, text rest and sleep to 901-296-9848. That's rest and sleep to 901-296-9848. And if this brought you any value, please like, comment, share, or save. And in closing, I decree that you are the epitome of health and wealth. I decree that you are continuously transforming into a greater version of self. I decree that you are interacting with opportunity instead of reacting to success. I decree that you are aligning to all that elevates your unique mind, body, and spirit. I am Duran Jackson. My brand is Wholistic Consciousness. Don't grind, align. Align to all that elevates your unique mind, body, and spirit. Peace. Y'all have a great day.